Hi everyone, my name is Amber and this is a Lovely Yarn podcast. I am just so happy to sit down and have an old-fashioned podcast chat with you all today. I do want to say I am going to be talking about one of my favorite yarns to use for warm weather knitting. Actually, it's Drops Belle, and I've had requests for this video in the past, but I actually want to compare my experience using Drops Belle to my experience using Sandnes Garn Line yarn, which I think they're the exact same content as far as material goes, but I want to talk about that. I want to show you guys what I'm currently working on, my spring projects that I've cast on, and then I just want to sit down and talk to you all. I have several things going on right now. I haven't had a ton of time to knit until just recently, so it has felt so good to pick up my knitting needles and to cast on a new project and just run with it. In fact, I've ran so much with it that I have a knitting injury, which I need to get your input on that. So thank you so much for joining me. Let's go ahead and get started with all the fun yarn and knitting details. Okay, you guys may hear a snoring dog in the background. It's so funny, but one of my most recent pattern roundups, one of the viewers mentioned that they could hear a dog snoring in the background. They were not being critical or mean or anything like that. She just noticed that and mentioned it, and I am this is a very dog-friendly space. We have two dogs, and both of them happen to be sleeping right here in our bedroom, which is where I film. And so our old 14-year-old lab mix, she's a snorer. So you may hear her snoring, and I can't kick her out. Like, she's old, she's comfy right now, and it seems that when I sit down to podcast, my dogs want to be in here with me. So you may hear some dog noise, but that's just what you're gonna get here at a Lovely Yarn podcast because we are dog lovers here in this home. So first thing I wanna start with is what I'm wearing. And this is called the Seashore Stroll. Okay, so this design is by Jennifer Shields Toland, and I think I knit this 2 years ago, but again, I'm not very good at documenting my knits, so yeah, I can't guarantee that I knit this 2 years ago, but it is a wonderful pattern. I actually had plans to make it again, and then I never did because I just ran out of season. And I feel like I'm a knitter who likes to knit projects based upon the weather of that season. So once we get to the end of the summer and we're starting into fall, I'm done with knitting warm weather knits. I just want to focus on warm woolly sweaters. And then once we get to the end of summer and we're heading into spring, which is where the season we're currently at in the Northern Hemisphere, now I just want to knit like spring and summer stuff. So I just kind of roll with the seasons. But as I said, this is a pattern by Jennifer Shields Toland, and it is an $8 pattern on Ravelry. Well worth it. Yes, I did. So I adjusted the yoke depth, and so I didn't do all of the patterning. You achieve all of this beautiful texture on the yoke, and I will put some B-roll in as well so you can see it maybe a little bit better. But you achieve this by knits and purls, and then there is a little bit of lace like up in here, very simple lace. But her yoke goes a bit deeper and it has a little bit more texture. And I cut mine off actually fairly early when I look at this. So I'm not sure why. Oh, so the pattern calls for fingering weight yarn. So this is probably why. This is Drops Safran, which I think they have it classified. Well, this is the exact yarn. It's the color, it's 100% cotton. It's color 59. I think it's called red clay if you look on their website. But this is classified more as 24 stitches to 4 inches. So as a sport weight yarn, but I think I have seen it on websites classified as a fingering weight, but I feel like it's definitely a sport weight or a heavier fingering weight. So I think that's what happened here. I just got to where I needed to split for my arms much faster than the pattern, probably because of the weight of my yarn and my gauge. And then, I mean, I could have probably figured out how to keep the pattern going down underneath the arms, but I didn't care to. So I stopped the textured yoke early. You can see a line down the middle. I store my knits I store them folded and I store them in my dresser. And I am just breaking out my spring knits. And so all of them have this crease down the front. I have had viewers tell me I should fold it like differently, taking basically the sleeves and folding them back behind so I don't have the crease going right down the center. I actually would still have a crease going down like right here, but it's just easier for me with my limited dresser space just to do it this way. I feel like things just store better. Probably the best way to do it would be to roll my knits, but I haven't done that. So yeah, I do have this crease. It's kind of bothering me. I was gonna steam it out, but then I was like, I don't have time to steam this out. It will work its way out. Like I didn't have time to steam it before this episode today. So yes, I knit this one slightly cropped because I knit it specifically to wear over a specific dress, which I don't typically get so specific in my knitting, but I did with this one, although this goes great with many things. I feel like this reddish, it's more like a terracotta color. I feel like it is a very good neutral color. And so I'm just wearing it with like olive green cutoffs right now. And I could wear it with blue jeans, like I could wear it with a lot of different things, except for the fact that I made it a little bit cropped. So I would definitely knit this a little bit longer next time I knit it. But I think that Jennifer Shills Toland has a bunch of different, let me look. I think she has a bunch of different Seashore Stroll designs. So she's got a winter Seashore Stroll, which must just be, oh, it's a cardigan. Oh, that's pretty. Let me show you what it looks like. So that's really pretty. I thought she had a tank too. Oh, I'm thinking of the Riptide, which is also she has a lot in her Riptide collection. That's right. I've looked at this collection as well. It's really pretty. She's a great designer. Oh, here's another one that I would actually like to knit. Oh my gosh, I just need more time. But this is the Riptide Tee. That's another really great one. I just need more knitting time. Okay, so that's what I'm wearing. Now I want to talk about my first finished object. It is my granny stripe shawl. This is part of the crochet along that I'm doing to support Moran of M Day's vlog, also Crochet Objet. She designed this pattern. I finished this. It's not blocked yet. I don't know that I'll actually block it. I think I'll let my body warmth block it next season, which is what I did with my original one that hangs up here. I don't think I blocked this one. So I finished this last weekend. I finished it off when my husband and I took a little trip north to the mountains, and we stayed in this really nice tree house. If you would have watched last week's vlog, which was a really short one, but I put some footage in there from that, and I finished off. All I had left to do was my little scalloped edge, and I finished that. So these colors, and I'm calling this my sea glass granny stripe shawl, and that is an inspiration that came from one of you viewers, because one of the viewers thought that these colors looked very much like sea glass, and I agree. I looked at it after, because I was calling it like my Easter egg shawl, and then she said that, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, that's perfect. And I love, one of my favorite things when we're in Maine, I get so excited to find sea glass. We stayed at a house one time that was like off the beaten path. We normally stay in Bar Harbor so that we can walk and we don't have to worry about parking, and we can use the Island Explorer transit system. Like we can just hop on the buses and get to the trails and stuff that we wanted to stay in. But because we had our married son and his wife came, we needed to get a bigger house, which meant we needed to move outside of Bar Harbor because we were kind of late in booking. We stayed at this beautiful old boathouse that they had converted into a cottage. We had our own little pier. We were right on the water. It was magical. It was absolutely magical. We found so much sea glass that trip, and I think it's because we were out of the normal like touristy area where people are actively looking for sea glass. And that was such a treat for me. So I get so excited. I am like a kid on my birthday when I find a piece of sea glass. So I thank you. I don't remember which viewer mentioned that. It might have actually been multiple viewers, but thank you for that inspiration for the name, because I love the name for this. My sea glass granny stripe shawl. So it is finished. I ended up, all of these different colors were from, I used a Color Riot, like 50 gram 4-pack skein. It was right here actually. So, and then I added in just some random minis. Yeah, that's how I did it. And then to finish off, I did my scallop in this mossy green. Actually, it's more like yellow. This is actually the, oh gosh, do I not have it here? I bought this, I made, oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Let me grab the tag, I have it. Okay, this is the Menace del Ergue Serena. Oh, there we go. And it is the curry colorway that I did the contrasting scalloped edge. I'm really excited about this. This knit along, or I'm sorry, crochet along is still happening. It is going on until the end of April. So today's April 18th. It's going on until April 30th. And you can participate by buying the pattern off Moran and crocheting it. It's a really fast, in my opinion. I feel like if you've crocheted before, then you'll be fine. And for me, when I've made both of these, both have been really quick projects. And you can use the hashtag on Instagram. I'll put it on the screen. It's ALY Granny Stripe Shawl CAL. And then you can also go right to the Ravelry forum. I'll link that down below. And you can post a picture of your finished shawl on there or on Instagram. And then at the end, I'm going to pick prizes. So I started this because Moran and I became friends, because we're, you know, both knitters. She's a crocheter as well. I'm a crocheter too, but we just kind of became friends online through social media, and then with her family going through a lot of stuff with the war. And yeah, I just wanted to show her support in this way by doing a little crochet along. So for those of you who have not heard about this yet, that is why I'm doing this. And I'll link her podcast also down below if you want to check that out. So this is done and I'm really happy. Probably, I don't know how much wear I'll get. I might be able to wear it, but I don't know that I will, because it's been really nice here. But it's mid-April in Western Pennsylvania. So I feel like we actually have gotten snow at the end of April in the past, so I'm not gonna hold my breath yet, but we've had pretty nice weather recently. So I posted a video 2 weeks ago all about my spring knitting plans, and I had so much fun doing that video, but my plans have already changed. Like, this is how I am. So what happened was I posted that video and I was all set to go, or so I thought. And then I started doing research for another upcoming pattern roundup I'm going to be doing. And then I changed my mind on one of my plans. When I plan knitting projects, they are never like set in stone, because sometimes I just get inspired to do something totally different than what I originally planned to do. And I knit because I enjoy it. So I'm not going to like crucify myself for changing my mind. You know what I mean? So I'm going to show you a project that I have cast on, and it's pretty much been like my main knitting focus, and I am loving it. So, and I found this pattern when I had heard of this pattern, but I found it when I was doing some research for my next pattern roundup video. It is the Tolsta tank. And this is a pattern by Rebecca, is it Clow? Rebecca Clow, Crayabea. And I have never knit one of her patterns before. I have wanted to knit multiple patterns of hers, and now I want to knit multiple patterns of hers even more, and that is actually in my future plans, because her patterns are absolutely amazing. It's like getting 5 patterns in one. So the Tolsta tank. Let me show you just like the neck options, the shaping options you can do for this particular tank. Now I wanted to do, so I was going to do the Sailor Swift tank by Veronica Lindbergh. And I was going to use the yarn, I was going to do the Drops Safran in these 3 colors, and I talked about this, okay? But I was a little bit nervous about the racer back. And it wasn't like an extreme racer back, but I don't have I'm a basic bra girl. I don't have all different kinds of bras to work with all different kinds of backs and tops and stuff like that. So I was like, I don't know. Is my bra gonna stick out? Like, that is just my personal preference. I try to keep my bra straps covered. And then again, a lovely viewer said, hey, have you seen the Tolsta tank? And I had seen it and I had heard of it, but I thought, oh, I'm gonna check that out for my next pattern roundup. Well, then I ended up thinking, no, I'm actually going to knit that one myself. So let me show you what I have so far. I think I'm getting close. Okay, wait, I'll measure here on camera, but let me show you. Okay, so this is what I have so far. And I'm striping and alternating those colors. So this is the red clay, which is the same color I knit this Seashore Stroll tank out of. And then the green is called, I think it's called Sea Green, but it is, I'll link everything down below like I always do, so you guys can just go look there. And then the creamy color is color number 18. Again, I'll link everything down below, or at least write it out so you can see in case you want to replicate it. But I'm enjoying knitting this so much. Now, it is 100% cotton. I went to knit night last night and I'm like, guys, have any of you ever had a single finger knitting injury? And they were like, yeah, okay. And I was like, good, because this finger, my index finger of my left hand, is hurting so bad, and it's been a little bit swollen. I had Lily, my daughter, I held my fingers up and I said, does one look more swollen than the other? And she's like, well, your left one looks less wrinkly. And I'm like, okay, that means it's more swollen than my right one, if it has less wrinkles. And I don't know if you can you probably can't tell on camera, but I think I have a knitting injury because being a continental knitter most of the time, I tension my yarn over my left index finger. And you would not think that those little tiny movements would cause such excruciating pain, but I think I have a muscle strain. I also was a little worried because I had gotten a bad splinter down behind the nail bed of that same finger. I had Brad pull it out. I could not even get the thing out because my vision is not the greatest. So he pulled it out like immediately after I did it, and I disinfected the area and everything. But then I started thinking, oh my gosh, am I getting cellulitis? Do I have gout? I've never had gout before, but I was like, do I have gout? Because I just couldn't believe that this could cause the amount of pain I've had in this finger. And then Jody, my friend Jody from Flower Hill Fleeces, she said, is that 100% cotton? I was like, yeah. She's like, that's probably why, because it has no stretch. Cotton has no stretch. And she said, it's probably affecting your finger and rubbing more than you realize, because it's not a superficial skin irritation. It's literally in my muscles or joints. I don't know. But anyway, have any of you experienced such a thing? Because it was kind of starting to freak me out, because I was thinking, oh, what if but I have no redness. Like with cellulitis, I would be getting redness and everything. So I'm sure it's just a knitting injury, but it is because I've been knitting so much on this, and I am excited to wear this. I am so excited. I think it's going to fit me really well. I'm knitting this, I think I'm knitting the second size, and I started the first size and I cast it on, and I got through the ribbing, and I got probably 1.5 inches into just the stockinette of the body. And I was like, this looks like it's going to be way too big. And I think the reason is I actually got gauge. So this is a little weird, but I didn't I don't know. The gauge is 26 stitches to 4 inches. And I actually got gauge, but I had to go down to size 2 needles. What is that in millimeters? I cannot read these. 2.75. The pattern calls for size US 4. And I had to go down to US 2 to get the 26 stitch gauge. But it just looked massive. So I put it on my little barber cord so I could stretch it out and like pull it up. Because this is a bottom up. That's my only complaint. It's a bottom up. I'm not crazy about bottom up garments, but we're doing it. But I pulled it up and I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be way too oversized. I'm not gonna like this at all. It's gonna look sloppy. So I pulled everything out and I cast on for the second size. And this is going to give me a much better fit. What I decided to do, and what I've done in the past when I've knit bottom up garments, is I find a sweater or a shirt in my closet that I really like the length of as far as like on my torso, and I will lay that down on my bed, and then I'll lay my knitting project on top, and I will knit until I get to like the sleeve of the store-made garment, or if I've knit it in the past, like I'll just knit until I get to the sleeve, and then I'll know that that's going to be a good length in the body for me. And I think I'm actually going to use this one to as my like template for the length, because I feel like if this t-shirt was just about an inch longer, it would be more comfortable on me. So I'm going to lay this out and see, I think I'm getting pretty close, because that is, now it's on my body, so it's not going to be exactly right, but I'm getting pretty close. So I'm just going to make this, the Tolsta tank, about an inch longer in the body than this Seashore Stroll tee is. So what else do I want to say? I am knitting the vest version. So that's this version over here. There's also the V-neck, which I really like. And this is probably my least favorite, just because I don't care for this look on myself. But this is like a square neck cami. But I am really, really enjoying this. And I can't remember if I said, she gives you like not only options for the different styles, like finishes, but she also gives suggestions for if you want to add texture, or like I'm adding stripes. I didn't use any of her suggestions because I feel like stripes are super easy. You just add them in. But what else? Oh, this pattern is also written for both DK weight and fingering weight. And when you buy her pattern, you get like all these individual files and you just pick the one you want. So I picked out the vest in the fingering weight, and I could just print. I ended up not printing it out because I'm just getting on my phone and reading the pattern. It's not like anything that I really have to make notes on the pattern or anything like that. It's not a complicated pattern. But I like that I'm not printing out like a 50-page pattern. That would be so overwhelming. I just literally printed out the fingering weight vest, or I just downloaded that to my phone. So that is also nice. If you're doing a striped top, I always like to recommend doing jogless stripes because it kind of helps hide. Now you can see, I'm sure you can see where I changed, right? Okay, my beginning of round. But some of this is because I still have to tighten up and weave in these ends for my color changes. And then it's also, that'll block out a little bit. But this is a much nicer stripe than if you would just add your color and just go. So if you're looking to do a striped garment and you never have before and you don't know about jogless stripes, I will link a video down below. I better make a note or I will forget to do that. And if I do, for some reason, still forget to do it, which I hope I don't because I'm going to write it down, just look up jogless stripes and it will show you a nice way to do stripes that you're not getting that like ladder, or at least not as much of it. Okay, so that is my very active whip. And then I have my yarn skeined up for my Prospect tee. That's a pattern by Tori Yu. I'll put a picture here because I haven't even started it yet. I have a feeling that I'm going to need my size 2 needles to get gauge with this pattern as well. And I only have one set of size 2 needles. So that's another reason I've been really trying to just work on that quickly get it done because I want to cast this one on. And it is also a fingering weight pattern. I ordered some, or no, this was sent to me. I did order more Pearl Soho. I'm going to show you here at the end of the video, but this was sent to me as a gift from Pearl Soho. So this is the linen quill in the rhubarb pink colorway. And it is lovely. I've used linen quill before. It has, what does it have in it? Oh, bummer. Oh, I have another skein right here. It's 50% fine Highland wool, 35% alpaca, and 15% linen. So it's not like the title is kind of misleading because linen quill, you think it's going to be mostly linen, but it's not. But it has a really nice, see, can you see that? Like the linen flex. Oh my gosh, my dog is snoring so loudly. So I have 3 skeins of this, but I think I'm probably only going to need 2. And I need to do my swatch. Okay guys, I don't always swatch, but if I'm making a garment, and especially one that I've never made before, I usually do swatch. And so I need to make a swatch. I think this pattern calls for size US 3 needles. I don't have it here in front of me right now, but like I said, I'm afraid I'm going to need the size 2, and I only have the 1 set. But this is what's happening very soon. As soon as I just make my swatch. I've just been so focused on getting the Tolsta tank done that I haven't even wanted to take the time to just knit a plain swatch, which really does not take that much time. So I don't know. I don't know what my problem is. Okay, then I have my husband's birthday socks, and I have one completely done. I'm knitting this out of a sock set from Sweet Mountain Crafts. It is from the Nest set, and I know that she does not currently have this particular sock set, but she does have other sock sets on her website, and it's 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. It's a DK weight base, and I have the first sock done except to graft the toe shut. It looks so tiny. My husband doesn't have big feet, but I had him try them on, so I'm hoping, I don't know. I had him try them on before I started the toe decreases. And I have my second one here. I just started on the heel flap. I was a little worried that I wouldn't have enough yarn. I haven't measured it as far as like weighing it, but I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna be fine. I was just like mentally kind of getting a little bit nervous about it. I am uncertain about whether I will have enough of the contrast color to do the toe, but I think I'm also gonna be fine. If I would have done the heel in the contrast color, definitely would not have had enough. And so I kind of had this like insight when I was starting it, I better not do the heel. So I'm doing the contrasting cuff at the top and then the contrasting toe. And his birthday is next week. Oh my, I've got a week and a half. It's next Sunday. So I don't even have a week and a half. I have a week and a couple of days to get those finished. He knows about them though, because I needed him to try them on because I have very low self-confidence when it comes to knitting DK weight socks because I have not knit enough of DK weight socks. I've just done so many fingering weight socks, but DK weight, I question myself every time I knit a pair of DK weight socks. Okay, another project I'm going to be casting on very soon is another pressed flowers kerchief. This is a pattern by Amy Christophers. I've knit this one. I guess I've only knit it once, but I've wanted to knit it again, and I am knitting it again now, but I'm knitting it as a sample knit for my friend Jody, who owns Flower Hill Fleeces, and I'm knitting it in her farm yarn. This is yarn that Jody has a mill now. She actually is not only just a shepherdess, which she raises mostly Shetland and then some Icelandic sheep, but she not only has a sheep farm, now she actually has a mill. So she is processing her own yarn, which is really, really cool, making lots of beautiful things. And I just feel like, I just love going and looking at all of her yarn that she has made. But this is what I'm going to be knitting it out of. And this is gonna be so much fun because she just recently dyed up she just recently milled and dyed up this bright pink. Isn't that so much fun? This is going to be so much fun to knit. And I don't know the details of this particular yarn as far as like, is it mixed with anything? I think it's 100% Shetland. This one, this black, it's actually a very dark brown, but it looks black until you get it in the light. It is Shetland. It's 100% Shetland, and it is the homegrown, and this is a mix of chicken parm and chicory. Those are two of her sheep, which I just helped with the sheep shearing this past weekend. I put a little bit of footage in my vlog of that, but Rachel and Renee at Table 10 podcast, they were there as well helping this year, and they did a hilarious recap on their latest episode, which they just posted yesterday on April 17th, and they put some pictures and video. I'm the vaccinator when I go, so I give the sheep their shots and also document I put down the dates and mark that they've been vaccinated and everything. But I remember their names, Chicken Parm and Chicory. So this is actually fully from her sheep. So this is going to be like the main color, and this is going to be the little pop of color behind. So the flowers will be this black color and everything else. And then, so main color, contrast color, going to be so much fun to make. And I'm going to get this cast on because Jody is going to be doing various fiber festivals this coming spring into the fall. And so I'm going to get this one ready for her so she can take it to Fayette County Fiber Festival, which is in June. I think it's like the second weekend in June 13th or 14th or something like that. So stay tuned for more about this, but that's going to be super fun because I really do love that pattern, and it's going to be so much fun. I love this pink. This is so much fun. Like there was a day where I would be like, that is way too bright, but I am like embracing the bright colors now. Love this so much. Okay, and then I want to talk about, I don't typically talk about yarn acquisitions because I don't know, it's just not an important thing to me, but I did recently go a little crazy. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's just because there's been, I've been really busy. There's been stuff going on in my personal life that's been slightly stressful, and I may have just tipped down into the edge and dipped my toes into some retail therapy because I literally purchased all this yarn I'm about to show you over a period of 24 hours. Now, I didn't spend a massive amount of money because I bought some yarn from Pearl Soho. It was 25% off at the time. And then I also bought some Drops yarn, which is a very economical yarn to begin with. So if you're interested in this, I'm going to show you what I have, and I'm going to talk about my plans and what I plan on doing with this. So my first little haul I'm going to show you is my Drops yarn. No, it's not. It's my Pearl Soho haul. So I told you this is linen quill in the rhubarb pink. I just had to get this pretty blue color. I had to. This is this blue. This is my blue. This is my blue. And I think this is called, it's called Mountain Bluebird. Oh my gosh, what a lovely name. I love the name. This is the linen quill, and I bought 3 skeins of it. I don't know what I'm going to make with this, but it was 25% off. And I was like, oh, that color, it's so beautiful. And you're going to see a color scheme. Okay, so I got this. I could make another one of these. I don't know. Wait and see what I do with this. I don't even know that I'll get to it this spring, but I'll have it for next spring. I always seem to buy too much spring summer yarn and then I have it for the next year to get started with, which is what happened with my Tolsta tee. I had my Tolsta tank. I had all of that yarn left over from last year when I had bought it. Okay, and then I also bought multiple skeins of the same color, but this is the Till, not teal, Till, T-I-L-L. This is Pearl Soho's worsted or Aran weight. This looks more like Aran weight. 14 to 17 stitches per 4 inches. It is called Blue Verdigris. And the reason I bought this, it's 100% Andean Highland wool. The reason I bought this is because Jody, again, Jody, she influenced me, and she is knitting a book club cardigan. That's a pattern by Sari Nordlund. She is knitting that in this exact yarn, this exact color. She showed it to me at Knit Night last month maybe, and I fell head over heels in love with that color and this yarn with that pattern. So I will be knitting that pattern in the fall with this yarn. It was absolutely beautiful. I wanted to steal hers and run, but then I thought that's not very nice, so I will just buy my own yarn when it goes on sale. So I did. I've never used the till, but when I held Jody really enjoyed working with it, and when I held it, it just felt so nice, and it just feels even nice. It's like not the least bit itchy or scratchy to me. So that was my Purl Soho haul. I think I got 8 skeins of the till because when I calculated how much I would need for the book club cardigan, I think it came out to like 7, and I bought an extra just in case because I almost always do that. There's only 136 yards per 100 grams of this yarn. So that was from Purl Soho. I actually had way more in my cart, and I was like, get a grip, Amber. No, you already have so much yarn. I don't buy yarn very often, but I do every now and then. And I definitely did in this 24-hour period a couple of weeks ago. My next order is all Drops Belle. So this bag of yarn cost me $57 US dollars. That's including shipping. Now, I have talked about Drops Belle a lot, and I'm actually going to talk about it right now and compare it to my experience of using Drops Belle and knitting with Drops Belle compared to the Sandnes Garn Line. I'm going to tell you my personal opinion and my experience with it. I have knit so many summer shirts out of the Drops Belle, so many. I've only knit one summer shirt out of the Sandnes Garn Line. Okay, so that is a confession up front. I have way more experience using the Drops Belle, but I wanted to try the Line because I was very curious about it. A lot of people use it, and I did notice that the color options are more extensive than the Drops Belle. I feel like Drops Belle has a nice amount of colors, but I noticed that the Line came in more colors. And so last year I had bought myself a summer shirt quantity of the Sandnes Garn Line, and I made myself a shirt, which I forgot to grab, so hold on. Okay, I have the same shirt knit with this, it's the same pattern, it's the ranunculus. I knit it in the same gauge with the same size needles. This is the Drops Belle, this is in the color Petrol, and this is the Sandnes Garn Line. I forget the name of this color. Ice blue or something. Oh wait, I have it right here. Blue, just blue worsted. Okay, light blue. It's light blue. So I wanted to knit the same pattern and in the same gauge because I wanted to be able to have like a more accurate way to compare how I felt about the two. And I have to say, I like them both. They both give me a very nice experience. I enjoyed knitting with the Sandnes Garn Line. I had no problems knitting with it. They're both the same fiber content, so the Line is, let me just verify that they're actually the same. So the Line is 53% cotton, 33% viscose, and 14% linen. The Drops Belle is it the exact same? It is the exact same. 53% cotton, 33 viscose, and 14 linen. All right, they're both 50-gram skeins. The Drops Belle has 131 yards or 120 meters and 50 grams. And 50 grams of the Line is approximately 110 meters. So the Drops Belle has a little bit more as far as yardage, about 10 meters more. And let me see what the gauge is for both of them. 20 stitches per 10 centimeters. And the Drops Belle is 21 stitches per 10 centimeters. Okay, so, but same exact fiber content. When I hold these two, I think that they're both equally drapey. The Drops Belle is, the Lena might be a tad bit softer than the Drops Belle, but it's not like I notice that when I'm wearing them. I don't wear the Drops Belle shirt and think, oh, this is scratchy. So I don't think there's that big of a difference in that. I think they both make very nice finished garments that have a nice drape to them. Okay. They both look nice. This one of my Drops Belle, I think I knit this one 2 years ago. It has a little bit of pilling under the arm there where there's more friction. This one does not, but I just made this at the end of, I think I made this in August last year. I might not even finish this until into the fall. So I have not worn this one as much. So I cannot attest to how it holds up over a longer period of time. So my conclusion, and you may have already surmised from the fact that I just ordered a whole big bag of more Drops Belle, my conclusion is I like the Lena. It is a very nice yarn. There are some very beautiful colors. However, I will use the Drops Belle over the Drops Lena. And the biggest thing it comes down to is the price point, because I can order a skein of Drops Belle for anywhere between $2 to $3 US per skein. It often is on sale. And I'm going to tell you where I buy mine. It's often on sale, okay? Where the Drops Lena, I think I paid $9 a skein. So it's like probably anywhere from $9 to $11 a skein. I think that's what, I bought this one at a yarn store in Virginia, but I think I've even seen it upwards of like $11 a skein. So for me, okay, let me pause and calculate this, okay? Okay, so I tried to look back through my knitting journal to see how many skeins I used for each of these, and I don't have it written down. I kick myself in situations like this. I said I'm not good at documenting these kind of things, but I'm pretty certain I remember that I used 5 skeins of yarn. I'm pretty sure for each of these. I think I bought 6 and I have 1 left over, so that would make total sense, but I only ended up using 5. So I paid $9 a skein for the Drops Lena. So that's a $45 top. Okay, so this top cost me $45 just in materials. Let's take it to the high end, the $3 mark, okay, for this Drops Belle. And I don't even think I paid that much for that skein of yarn, but let's just say if it's not, if it's on the higher end of where I've seen it marked, $3 US times 5 skeins is $15. So this shirt was $15 to make. This one was $45. So for me, the price makes all the difference. So yes, maybe the colors are a little bit more limited than the Lena, but I think that Drops Belle still has a really nice color range, and it's so much more economical, and I appreciate the economical side to the Drops Belle. And I have not had a problem with any of my shirts that I've made with Drops Belle. I think, like I said, I have a little bit of pilling, but it's not that bad. And I may get that with this, by the time next season rolls around, because I've had this one for at least 2 years, and this one I've only worn a couple of times. So that is my opinion on the Drops Belle versus the Sandnes Garn Line. I think for me, I will stick with the Drops Belle. The only downfall to the Drops Belle is I do not believe that you can source it from the United States. For those of us who live here in the United States, we have to order it and have it shipped overseas. So there are 3 main distributors of the Drops yarn that I have used. Actually, I've used 2, but I've had multiple people tell me about a 3rd option. So I used to use only Wool Warehouse. And then last year with the tariff structure that was instituted here in the United States, they stopped shipping to the United States temporarily. They are shipping to the US again right now. But then, so there's Wool Warehouse, and then there is Rito.com, which is where I ordered this particular yarn from. And I think the shipping was like $10, $11 to have an entire bag of yarn shipped to me. And then the other option that I've heard a lot of people say really good things about is Lindy Hobby. I'll put all these down below so that you can check them out yourself. Basically what I did when I ordered this yarn is I went to all 3 sites. I put all the same yarn in my carts at all 3 sites, and I went to the checkout page and I went to see who was going to have the best shipping option for me as far as price goes. And Rito.com was the cheapest for me, and it still is. I mean, I didn't even show you what I ordered. Okay, I ordered 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. What a random number. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I ordered 17 skeins of Drops Belle. So I ordered 9 skeins of the pearl color. This is like a very, it's not bright white, so it's like the next step down. It's like an off-white, but it's not a yellow off-white, at least not, yeah, it's definitely not a very yellow off-white, which is what I wanted. And I ordered 2 skeins of this yellow color. I can't remember what its exact name was, maybe Dandelion. And I'll put the color numbers down below. And then I ordered 6 skeins of I think this one was called Light Blue Jean. So what my plan is I want to make a Farnham tee. I've had this pattern for a couple of years, and I was looking on Ravelry, again, doing research for my next roundup, and I saw someone had made the Farnham tee. That's a Knit Pearl Girl design, and this particular knitter had made it with the Drops Belle in the pearl color. I think it was the pearl. It was some sort of white or off-white color, but she had then used for the contrast color this yellow, and it looked so good. I will try to find that picture and put it on the screen so you can see. And so I thought I want to knit my Farnham in that same exact color. Then I got the blue, and I don't know this for certain yet, and you know me, I've already confessed to changing my mind quickly when it comes to knitting. But I thought this would make a nice Farnham as well with the contrast color, like making this your main body and this my contrast color, because I have 9 skeins of this. So why the Farnham tee? Because I love the shape of that tee. I love it. I think that whenever I have worn store-bought tees that are that shape, I always feel like they look nice on my body. And so I really want to make this t-shirt. I actually did cast it on when I first bought that pattern several years ago, and then I realized the yarn that I had and that I was going to use, which I don't even remember what it was. Oh, I think it was the Barocco Remix. I cast on with that, and I was like, this is not a good option. This is not a good yarn for this particular pattern. So I scrapped that project, but I think this Drops Belle is going to just work beautifully for this pattern. I'm really excited to make it. Can you tell I'm excited for my warm weather knitting? I'm just like so inspired. Okay, one last thing I wanted to talk about was the coring cardigan. Remember how I said now I want to knit more of Rebecca Clow's patterns? Is it Clow or Clow? I'm sorry. It's probably Clow, Rebecca Clow. I want to knit more of her patterns, and I've had my eye on the Corin cardigan. It's like this lacy and a open cardigan. I think it would be perfect as a summer cardigan or a spring cardigan, and I think it also comes in different options. I know it comes in different, you can do different, like you can do a short sleeve, you can do the long sleeve. I want to do a V-neck. Maybe it has a crew neck. I don't remember because I haven't purchased this pattern yet. I've just had it saved in my favorites. I think it's a fingering weight, but it could be a DK. I don't know. I think I'm going to be featuring that one in my next pattern roundup, so you can stay tuned for more details with that one. But if you want to look it up in the meantime, that's another one that I would really like to make. And now that I'm knitting one of her patterns and I'm just so impressed with the pattern itself, I am even more excited to knit that one. Okay. Oh, also, I'm going to re-announce. So do you guys remember when I did the visit to Moon and Yarn Craft Room in Pittsburgh? Like, was this in February? It was back in February, I think. And I had bought a sock set there to give away. I had announced the giver. I can tell I've been talking for a while. I announced the winner on a podcast episode after that. That winner never got back to me. So this is the last chance. So I'm going to put it on the screen here because I can't even remember the name of the winner off the top of my head. I'm going to have to look back in my gallery on my phone and find the little screenshot I took when I did when I used the random comment picker. But this winner right here, you need to contact me, and I will tag your name in the video description down below again, like I did last time. But if I do not hear from this person by the next time I film a regular podcast episode, which will probably be in a couple of weeks, I'm going to redraw from that video and pick another winner, because I have this beautiful sock set here that somebody needs to knit with. I mean, I would gladly knit with it, but I bought it for one of my viewers because I appreciate you guys so much. So I want to be able to send this to somebody. So right up here, if this is you, please use my email, which is linked in the video description down below. Contact me so I can get this sent out to you. If you do not, within the next couple of weeks, I will be redrawing a name and sending it to somebody else. So I think that is everything that I wanted to talk about today. I honestly thought when I was thinking last night, oh, I want to film a podcast tomorrow, but I don't know if I'm going to have enough to talk about. My new camera does not tell me how long I've been talking. Yes, it does. It says 55 minutes. Oh my goodness. I guess I had more to say than I thought. This is how I am. I don't think I have a lot to say until I start talking. And then I just feel so happy when I talk about my knitting that I just keep going. So I'm going to wrap this. I'm going to wrap this up now. Thank you for joining me. You can see all of the places I am on social media down below, including Instagram, Ko-Fi. Thank you so much for those of you who send donations to the channel through Ko-Fi. I really greatly appreciate that. I also have my email linked down below. I am a little behind on my email correspondence, so I will get to you eventually. It's just been super busy so far this spring, so I haven't been able to keep up on that. Anyway, everything I talked about will be linked down below, or at least mentioned down below, so you can look it up on Google if you so desire. Thank you so much for joining me. Enjoy your knitting, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.